Jules, we're not done because we have more quick hits.
Yes.
Mikel Merino scores the only goal as Arsenal beat Chelsea 1-0 to move within 12 points of Liverpool. That's a dawdle. But at least they pretty much locked up their Champions League place for next season. Big win. Really crappy game.
I thought it was not good at all. It's not the first time we say it, certainly for this Chelsea team, especially without Cole Palmer, who had a little muscular injury, apparently, if you believe Enzo Maresca. And without him, I mean, it was pretty tedious what they offered with the ball. And from an Arsenal point of view, they scored quite early-ish anyway. That goal, I think, for the
20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes, Merino on set pieces. It's been a long time since they scored again on set piece.
Thank you, Robert Sanchez, by the way.
Yeah, of course. But why Robert Sanchez is still playing for Chelsea is beyond me. But like different combination, it worked out this time. And then Arsenal controlled the game without doing much more with the ball either, to be fair. So not great from either team. If you're Arsenal, you take that. It's a long unbeaten streak now against Chelsea, and you just move on because right now that's all that you care. Is
Chelsea should have refused to play because it was less than 72 hours after their conference.
That's true. Heroics against Copenhagen.
Can I make this very simple? When when two of the three best attacking players for Arsenal, Bukayo Saka and Kai Havertz, aren't there, and also Kai Havertz is back up, but I won't reopen that can of worms. And when Ethan Nwaneri's also on the bench. And when, for Chelsea, their top, as Maresca points out, their top three scorers from this season, Nico Jackson, Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke, are all out.
Yeah.
As is Nico Jackson's backup.
Maguire,
whatever.
Favorite.
You're not going to see great attacking play. You're going to see a lot of lumbery stuff. And it was really a bad game.
It was a bad game.
Manchester City are held at home by Brighton 2-2 in a game I thought could easily go either way. Jules, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and Foden all start on the bench. Right move to put your creative players out?
Doku and Savinho are also
running
creative
straight
players.
lines very fast.
But they're still creative. You made it an open game that way, obviously, which is what I think also Brighton wanted, and Brighton are very good when it's an open game. And to be fair, I thought in the end that Brighton probably deserved it a little bit more if they'd won it, but the draw is probably a fair result. But you like control, obviously, if you're Man City, from a Man City point of view, without them three. And they're not on good form, neither of them. Bernardo, by the way, came on and came off injured. De Bruyne is not on good form. Foden is not on good form either. So it's a tricky one maybe for Pep. The more I watch the City team, the more disappointed I am overall. And I know they could have won that game probably.
With a Nico header.
He hit the post, although Brighton also had chances. But they were not very good either still. And they're
a dumpster fire defensively. That midfield, Gundogan looks like a ghost of himself. What did Kovacic do? What did he do? Like forget to wash his jock that he can't get into the team? I mean, I don't understand. Yeah. It looks like he's just experimenting at this stage.
Yeah.
Rasmus Højlund scores his first goal since November as Manchester United romped a 3-0 win over Leicester. Jules, are you going to be positive, or will you just remind everybody that they're playing Leicester?
I'll be both. I'll remind everybody you play Leicester, and Ruud van Nistelrooy surely has to be the worst ever Premier League manager, even worse than Frank de Boer, so another Dutch guy for you. But we can be positive because this was better from a United point of view. Like the two Real Sociedad game were better. Like the game last weekend was better against Arsenal. The weekend before at times in what they did or what they tried to do. So it's a bit better. And we should say when it's better, when it's more positive, and Bruno is in great form. And
get well soon, Aiden Heaven. That guy's a player.
Yes.
Ange Postecoglou mixes it up after the Europa League win on Thursday, and Tottenham fall 2-0 at Fulham. Jules, I'm all for rotation. Is it wise ahead of an international break?
I don't want to repeat the same thing again about Ange Postecoglou, but I'm tired now. I think it's completely stupid to do that. It's their 15th defeat in the league. 15 defeats in 29 matches. I just don't understand. Okay, now I guess the Europa League is the priority and he won't care about the league. I mean, it looks like he hasn't cared about the league since the start of the season, to be fair. But to put that team out, and it's not even just the team out, the performance was pretty average again. I don't know. I'm not sure why he's playing out. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. I don't really understand. Unless they win the Europa League, and that will save him. Because really, I think if they don't win the Europa League and finish 12th or something, he won't be there next season and should not be there next season. Because he can go, I don't know if you heard what he said pre-match in his press conference. He said he went after the Mr. Hindsight. He said, "Oh, you know what the big problem in football is? All those Mr. Hindsights everywhere who know better once the game has been played." You know what, Ange? I don't know if you were talking about us, maybe, or other pundits or journalists, broadcasters, whatever. But we told you a lot of times this season before your games that what you were doing was stupid. So it's not hindsight. We wait for the end of the game to say, "Oh, you made a mistake there." We told you before that a lot of the things you were doing, and yeah, you had injuries, but a lot of the things you were doing didn't make much sense either. So now this is where you are, 13th. More than half of your games in the Premier League have been defeats. I just don't think for a club like that is good enough.
I think the other thing which strikes me a little bit. First of all, it's not just hindsight; it's results, right? That's kind of what you're judged on is output, right? Whether you measure it just in terms of points and trophies and achievements, or whether you measure it in terms of how happy the fans are with the club. Right? This is part of your goal. You're in the entertainment industry. You're in the sports industry. You get results one way or the other. Hopefully both. But what's odd to me is the team earlier, when they were more gung-ho about attacking and they commit a lot of people forward, they conceded goals, they're criticized for it. Now they're not even producing at the attacking end. Yeah. And I think those are legitimate questions to ask. And I was watching the Arsenal-Chelsea game, which really hurt my eyes, as you know. Yeah. And I had the Napoli game on the other TV, and they had this on the third TV. And it was funny, every time I looked up, it looked so listless. And I thought, is this just kind of my impression? And then later I watched Match of the Day, the big highlights program here, and they actually had this whole thing where they were highlighting Spurs players who were not running. Yeah. And at one point, you see, I think it's Bentancur, who comes from like 20 meters behind Matisse Tell and runs past him, which should never happen. You see Jed Spence completely switching off on the second goal. Yeah. This is what should make you angry, Ange, not people talking about hindsight.
Not Mr. Hindsight, exactly.
Nottingham Forest stay third in the Premier League with a 4-2 win away to Ipswich Town. Jules, I thought they were supposed to be this uber defensive side.
I mean, they still are. And to be fair, until the first goal, the Milenkovic on the set piece, there was not much going forward from Forest, to be fair. But that's fine, because then the games open up. Ipswich try to go for it. Ipswich are not very good. So then it's much easier on the counter for Nottingham Forest to put Elanga in, and even Jota at the end, who's obviously the Portuguese Jack Grealish, as we know now. Very much so. Great. It's great for them. I think it's a 5 points gap now, maybe, between Forest in third and the team in fourth. So it's looking good for the Champions League.
I think this is tremendous. Big shout out to my brother in phlegm, Mr. Marinakis.